Alright, we got Garou versus the Seven, One Punch Man versus the Boys.
Heroes who impose their will on others and operate as celebrities, and a vigilante intent on taking them down. I don't know how I didn't think of this any sooner before my friend brought it up to me, but wouldn't it be interesting if Garou the Hero Hunter, a vigilante who hates heroes for imposing their will on others and work with a corrupt, shady organization, existed in this world? Yeah, kind of funny how well that lines up. But yeah, today we'll be talking about
Garou,
whether or not Garou could beat or hunt the Seven, Thought's crown hero team. A friend did legitimately pitch this to me and I thought it would be fun. We'll be using human Garou and the TV version of the Seven. We're also going to throw Translucent in there even though he died early in Season 1. With that in mind, let's start with a rundown of the Seven. Hey guys, another classic Professor Fiction interjection. You guys see that little number down there? Well, we're getting real close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm just saying, I'd really appreciate that. So I would love it if everyone watching this video who's not subscribed would just subscribe, you know? Yeah, you know, it really helps out. It shows me that you guys appreciate the content. But, yeah, thanks. The soups of the boys are generally superhuman. Big surprise.
they're strong, but
A
not
well-known
as strong
trait
at the
of the
point
soups of the boys universe
they can
is
be the
being
One Punch
bulletproof,
Man universe.
regardless of what their unique power is. Starlight at one point gets shot by a 50 caliber rifle and is simply knocked on the ground, and Maeve can no-sell machine gun fire. Speaking of Maeve, in the first scene of the show, she stops a speeding armored truck. These trucks can weigh up to 25,000 pounds, and assuming it was speeding at a pretty reasonable 50 miles per hour, which, considering it was outpacing police cruisers, seems like an understatement, the truck would be generating 2.8 million joules of energy. This is around enough to destroy a small building, and Maeve stops this with just her body and no damage. Translucent also gets hit by a car and is fine. When Homelander gives Compound V to several criminal cells around the world and creates supervillains, as he likes to call them, Miss Stillwell claims that weapons like the M1 tanks and Tomahawk missiles have just become irrelevant. M1 Abrams shells have an explosive yield of around 20 million joules, and Tomahawk missiles can carry a half-ton warhead capable of destroying buildings as well. Black Noir fights one of these supervillains, Nahib, who generates an explosion which was calculated at over 400 million joules,
Whoa.
or about a tenth of a ton of TNT. Noir not only tanks this, but also kills Nahib right after. Congress debates declaring soups as weapons of mass destruction, and it's generally believed only a soup can take down another soup. Homelander is on another level, and is considered to be the strongest superhero. The same Black Noir we mentioned earlier literally gets his guts ripped out and one-shot by Homelander. Stillwell tells Butcher that there's no weapon on Earth that could kill him, potentially including nukes as strong as the Tsar Bomba, which has an explosive yield of 50 megatons of TNT.
Damn.
This is supported by the fact that the Russians also couldn't figure out how to kill Soldier Boy after decades of having him locked up and experimenting on him. Soldier Boy is only almost as strong as Homelander, and Homelander can dominate him in a fistfight. As for speed, A-Train is the fastest man alive and is stated capable of moving at speeds around 1,000 miles per hour, which would be Mach 1.3, aka 1.3 times the speed of sound. This may be boasting or hype, however, as when A-Train amps himself with Compound V to race Shockwave, he runs at a top speed of 371 meters per
That
second,
dude is a cheater,
or
bro.
Mach 1.08, which the announcer calls a world record, implying the 1,000 mile per hour statement isn't recorded. Homelander claims he could break the sound barrier as a child, and when searching for Translucent, flies at speeds over Mach 1.5. At one point, Homelander saves Billy Butcher from an explosion at nearly point-blank range, to the point Butcher isn't even scratched, which requires speeds of around Mach 4.5. Some may argue that things such as Starlight's blasts or Homelander's laser vision being light speed using the audio description of the series. I don't really think this works, as A-Train could make Starlight's attacks seem slow by comparison, and he needed to be amped just to barely surpass the speed of sound, let alone when he's on the verge of a heart attack. It is an argument you can make, but it does
All
seem
that
to
drugs is
contradict
taking.
the
That's why
slightly
you
more
got a heart attack.
down-to-earth nature of the series, with the speed of sound being somewhat of a benchmark or impressive feat. Even in his early days, Garou is extremely impressive. Garou hunts many heroes that are considered superhuman, such as Stinger, the A-class hero that Garou can pummel even when weakened, is stated to be even stronger than a grizzly bear, and Moomin Rider, who is self-admittedly too weak for B-class, can outbox a monster who tanked gunfire from the police. Garou can then literally slam Moomin Rider onto the curb and KO him pretty much instantly. An early series character, Hammerhead, acquires a battlesuit capable of some pretty insane feats. With it, he and his goons can take out the aforementioned Moomin Rider.
That dude always
send
getting beat
armored
up, bro.
cars flying that
That's
weigh
funny.
up to 28,000 pounds. And at one point, one of his underlings punches away a skyscraper, which has been calculated between 224 and 766 tons of TNT, or roughly comparable to 900 billion joules of
What
energy.
the fuck?
This feat is also consistent with Hammerhead launching boulders like artillery, which has also been calculated at 261 tons of TNT. Sonic faces Hammerhead, but later, after seeing the hero Puri Puri Prisoner in action, claims that Prisoner is even stronger than Hammerhead with his sweater still on. The thing about Prisoner's sweater is it is blown off of his body when he powers up to 50%, which means that full power Prisoner would be over twice as strong as Hammerhead and could exert between 448 and 1,500 tons of TNT at the very least. Prisoner then gets totally annihilated by the Deep Sea King. Meanwhile, Genos can compete with the Sea King in hand-to-hand combat, and then after Genos gets upgraded even more, Garou can swap hands with him. This would easily put Garou in the 448 to
No, but Garou is,
1,500
Garou is
tons of
just,
TNT range.
that
at the
boy's
very
different,
bare
bro.
minimum. You could also scale him to an early series Genos, who destroys the top of a mountain, which has been consistently calculated to being between a few thousand tons of TNT and a few million tons of TNT. There's a ton of calculations of this feat. Like,
Yeah.
literally a ton of them.
One Punch Man
And
universe
I'm
is
no
just
calc god or anything.
ridiculous.
So just keep in mind, it on average comes out to a few 100,000 tons of TNT or a few 100 kilotons. Sea King can tank this exploding directly in his face, yet Genos later can beat a simulated version of Sea King, and this is before Genos fights Garou, meaning Garou would scale to it. Tank Top Master is also compared to the upgraded Genos post the Sea King simulation fight, and Garou left him hospitalized. Genos can also tank his own incineration cannon deflected back onto him by Carnage Kabuto, yet both weakened Garou and Dry Sea King can rip Genos' arms off. It is incredibly consistent for Garou to be over this feat from Genos' weakest form, though if for whatever reason you still disagree, there's still that Hammerhead scaling I outlined earlier. As for speed, Genos early in Season 2 pretty blatantly dodges light beams. While this isn't exactly light speed for Genos, he'd still scale to a reasonable percentage of it. Garou also competes with Genos after receiving numerous upgrades after dodging this light. Light is roughly equivalent to 300 million meters per second, or Mach 800,000. The whole light thing is a pretty big debate within the One Punch Man fandom, so I'll go over some other interpretations if you disagree with the light speed scaling. Ion is explicitly stated able to outspeed bullets and cuts them at speeds upwards of Mach 41. Spring Mustachio is able to move relative to Ion against Homeless Emperor.
None of them are faster than
but Garou
Saitama,
only
baby.
sees him as a decent opponent and can react to his thrusts and cuts. Garou, while heavily weakened, can also react to and deflect Death Gatling's Death Shower, which has been calculated at being a Mach 48. Shortly after this,
Man,
Garou
what's
also
going on with all
reacts
those
to and
numbers, bro?
dodges Genos' incineration
That
cannon,
break gonna get
which has
fried.
been calculated at Mach 155. Now that we've gone over the stats, it seems that pretty much none of the 7, aside from Homelander, really stand a chance here. The best calculable feat we have is Black Noir tanking an explosion, which is only a 10th of TNT. Even Hammerhead chucking boulders is over 2,000 times more impressive than that, and Garou would annihilate Hammerhead. Homelander is more of an issue if you take his statement of being able to withstand any man-made weapon to the extreme, and say he scales to well over 50 megatons of TNT. While that's a bit higher than a couple hundred kilotons, that doesn't quite mean that Homelander is invincible. This is due to the massive speed gap between the two. Homelander's best speed feat is Mach 4.5. The lowest speed feat we mentioned for Garou is at least Mach 41. This means best case for Homelander, Garou is still 9 times faster than Homelander and every member of the 7.
Damn.
Even granting both sides light speed scaling, which is probably more likely in the case of One Punch Man, almost nobody actually scales to Homelander's laser eyes or Starlight's blasts. They blitz almost
so even the
everybody
weakest
that they
heroes
interact
in
with.
One Punch Man
Garou
is
being
just
much
we just
faster
know
than the
you know
Genesis
that he's
dodge
weak.
light would probably
Them
be
villain
able
is
to
just
dodge
way
these
too strong,
attacks,
bro.
if not straight up being faster than them. Add on to the fact that Garou has super adapting martial arts that predict your next move before you make it.
And he can copy skills as well, bro.
Probably isn't hitting Garou. He's not totally insignificant compared to Homelander and would be able to damage him over time. Garou is also an expert martial artist with access to the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist and several other martial arts from his dojo crushing and hero hunting. He has a super learning ability that lets him learn and adapt in the middle of combat. Most of the 7 in comparison have questionable combat skills or experience, with the exception of Black Noir and Maeve, with Maeve in particular being able to use her combat skill to contend with Homelander. Stamina also leans in Garou's favor. Since characters in The Boys don't seem to have any exceptional stamina feats, Garou, while sick, injured, and sleep deprived, can fight numerous heroes, then continue to fight against Genos, Bang, and Bomb, despite poison and further wounds. Even a beatdown from Bang and Bomb couldn't fully incapacitate Garou, despite being stronger than him, and him already being near out of stamina. Even if Homelander were to fly in the air and spam his laser vision, which he's never done in character, Garou should be much stronger than Hammerhead, as we said earlier, and Hammerhead can launch boulders to the top of skyscrapers, and Tank Top Master can perform similar feats. Homelander is more likely to exchange in hand-to-hand combat, or in close quarters, or in close enough range that Garou could close the gap with speed. Translucent's invincibility wouldn't let him sneak up on Garou, seeing as Garou can react to things he can't see and has the ability to sense killing intent. Garou senses Death Galling's killing intent from a totally different
so
room,
basically Garou is
let
just
alone
OP,
some
bro.
invisible dude right next to him.
And I saw that's not even his final
Same
form,
applies
bro.
to if Starlight were to ever
Imagine that
blind
Celestial
Garou.
form, bro.
Not that she ever could due to the speed gap.
He would kill the Homelander in one
Homelander
punch.
is much stronger,
Bro, I saw
faster,
last
more
fight, bro, in the
skilled,
manga,
has
bro,
more
against
stamina,
Saitama, bro.
and
When he
overall
turned
should
into a
have the
fucking god, bro.
capability to
Nah,
take out
bro. He would
Homelander
kill
and the
some
other members of the 7
Homelander in
with
one punch, bro, with that
relatively
form,
no
bro.
difficulty. Homelander is more like a wall he'd have to overcome, but isn't nearly fast enough to even compete with Garou. And Garou would ultimately win the battle of attrition.
I think Garou is the
I guess
strongest,
if Billy Butcher really wanted
the
to take
strongest
down Homelander,
villain that
he should've
Saitama ever
just
fought.
learned karate or something. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope
No
you
problem, my
enjoyed.
boy.
If